What's the darkest side of humanity you've ever seen? I worked in child protection, so I saw a lot. Worst was an 8-year-old that had been trafficked and abused for 4 years and killed herself at 10 years old. I was in hospital. I was a sick kid, with a 3 or 4-year-old. His mom had given him caustic soda in his bottle. It melted half his tongue away. He lived in a hospice with some nuns and he'd come in weekly to have his tongue stretched in the hopes he'd be able to talk one day. He was cute as a button. I wonder how he's doing. He'd be in his 20s now. 2 years ago, a girl from my school got raped by 3 guys and posted online. One committed suicide and the other 2 had fled the country. Most of my school has seen it and she is living in severe depression and social anxiety. So sad. People who voted for Biden. How do you feel he is doing? TBH, I think people need to stop making the president the most important part of our government. The president is not. We need to hold accountability to the House and Senate. Those are the fucks that are really fucking us over. Introducing garbage extra into bills to fit their narrative should be automatic fire. Worse than who I wanted. Exactly what I expected. Better than what we had. Nothing that makes you rally behind him, but still better than seeing the news every morning and just going WTF. He's a boring president who somehow manages to pass some pretty monumental legislation. I think this is what the voters wanted. Meh. He's kinda like a ham sandwich. Nothing special, but it's not going to give you diarrhea either. What did you learn at an embarrassingly late age? The longest time I always heard of sports teams drafting people. And I am tall, so as a kid I was constantly afraid I'd get drafted for the state basketball team just out of the blue. I thought it worked like a military draft. I learned this wasn't the case when I was like 10 to 12. So many people do cocaine. So you work in the food industry. I thought everyone's mouth got itchy when eating bananas. Almost 40 years old and find out I'm somewhat allergic to them. That abuela and abuelo were not my Cuban grandparents' actual names. My Sil is a teacher. She always tells the story of the student who legitimately thought that his real name was Mijo. Women's pads stick to their underwear and not themselves like a band-aid. Ponies are not baby horses. What are some red flags in a relationship that most people don't realize is a red flag? Missed opportunities to bond. It sounds silly, but it definitely adds up to showing how much they don't care. It can be as simple as you guys driving and you say, "Oh look, a rainbow," and they don't even care to turn their head. Constantly apologizing for your so. If you tell your friends about them and you always find yourself saying things like, "So didn't mean it like that," so knows they can be a lot. They're trying. So as a good person underneath all that, get out of there. Chances are they're love bombing you and or putting up a show in front of you while your friends see them for who they really are. Inability to set or enforce boundaries with family. I feel like a lot of the problems on relationship subreddits occur because people don't spot this problem early on or wait until far too late into the relationship to do anything about it. What is horribly overpriced? I swear that it would be cheaper to melt some platinum and pour it into a printer cartridge than to buy some regular printer ink. Anything for weddings. If you say, "wedding," to any vendor or business, the prices go way up. It's ridiculous. Airport food. Funerals. Insulin. Being alive, and I'm not even having a good time. Housing, healthcare, and food. The stuff that matters. Groceries are insane, they go up every week a noticeable amount. I don't know how people on fixed incomes afford to eat. Printer ink. Groceries.